welcome, welcome here in our circle. Graceful ones, curious ones who dare to touch the stream that brings eco-centric culture in the world. Beauty to see you and to have you and to sense you. All of you, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, and welcome from my side too. And yeah, as I was listening to Eleni welcoming you, I was thinking that maybe we can thank each other, to thank the multiplicity of the beings that we have inside of us, and that some are curious, some are scared, so some are hopeless, some are full of hope for the present, for the future. And to thank those ones that, hey, you have chosen to spend this Friday afternoon in the company of other dreamers and visionaries and seekers. So yeah, praises for those ones in you, and welcome.
So every time we meet, especially if we meet here in, tuning in from our homes, there is an invisible threshold that is calling us to cross, because we are going to be at home, and yet we want to enter another realm in which the seeds of the future are tended. So we are going to tend the seeds. We are going to imagine that they are warmed in a big cauldron, and they are stored there in the right temperature. And to make sure that the temperature is right, we need the fire. So with this being said, I'm inviting all of us to prepare for lighting our candle. Yeah, and as you're lighting your candle, just imagine that we are now lighting the fire under a huge cauldron that holds all possibilities, all seeds of the world, of plants, of animals, of humans, of all the beings in the earth and the universe. And the fire, by lighting our candle, is going to tend to these seeds, warm them, keep them in the right temperature. Once your fire is on, stare at it for a little while. Be in the intimacy of this being. Perhaps with an exhalation, drop whatever has happened so far in the day and make space for whatever needs to emerge in this online workshop. And I'm inviting you to sink even more in the workshop, in the sacred, by choosing a being, human or other, to dedicate this workshop to, dedicate your presence, to dedicate your devotion to the sacred mission that you are anchored in. May we serve that being through the way we act and be and listen. Welcome, dear ones.
Now that we have crossed the threshold from the mundane into the sacred, into the maybe the world beneath the worlds, with this capacity of opening your heart, we are going to read you a poem. We have a poem for all of us that is called Being a Person by William Stafford. So listen to this one, maybe gazing at the fire or gazing outside the window or gazing within yourself, closing your eyes so that you can see better. Being a person. Well, he says, be a person here. Be a person here. Stand by the river. Invoke the owls. Invoke winter, then spring. Let any season that wants to come make its own call. After that sound goes away, wait. A slow bubble rises through the earth and begins to include sky, stars, all space, even the outracing and expanding thought. Come back and hear the little sound again. Suddenly, this dream you are having matches everyone's dream, and the result is the world. If a different call came, there wouldn't be any world, or you, or the river, or the owls calling. How you stand here is important. How you listen for the next things to happen. How you breathe.
Be a person here. Simply that. Be a person here. Stand by the river. Invoke the owls. Invoke winter, then spring. Let any season that wants to come here make its own call. The season will call. After that sound goes away, wait. Don't go anywhere. A slow bubble rises through the earth and begins to include sky, stars, all space, even the outracing, expanding thought. Come back and hear the little sound again. Suddenly, this dream you're having matches everyone's dream. And the result is the world. If a different call came, there wouldn't be any world or you or the river or the owls calling. How you stand is truly important. How you listen for the next things to happen is truly important. Even how you breathe. Being a Person by William Stafford.
Such a simple yet potent poetry is inspiring us with. So just to bridge a little bit from the previous part of the workshop and now the second part of the workshop, if you haven't participated to the first part of the workshop, we are encouraging you to listen to the recording. but also just participating to this day, to this workshop, it is by its own an experience. And I'll just let us maybe ponder and stay a little bit in the realm of the poetry, being a person here. I believe that William Stafford is actually almost telling us or screaming at us through this poem that we are world makers. How we stand here, how we breathe, how we listen to the next thing to happen. We are world makers. And here we are gathered in a circle around the title, around the metaphor of the seeds for the revolution. We are all participating in the creation of the world. The world is being created continuously. The world is being unfolding continuously every single second. All is being created. And everywhere, not only in one part of the globe, but everywhere, everything, including ourselves, is participating to the world making. Feel that in your bones. How you stand here matters. How you stand, how you breathe matters. So if that is actually true, if we allow ourselves to believe that that is actually true, how? The question is, how are we willing to participate? That how matters. It matters. It simply matters. Creators of the world, makers of the world. And he says, suddenly this dream, as if we are dreaming or as if we are dreamt by the world, suddenly this dream you are having matches everyone's dream. And the result is the world. Suddenly, as if a consciousness is being shifted, as if we are being awakened from a deep sleep. Suddenly, as if somebody is pulling us out of the edge. Suddenly, as if we are falling into the abyss. Suddenly. Maybe this is the revolution that we are giving our lives towards. Suddenly, something has to happen. Where is that suddenly? Where is, maybe we are searchers of that suddenly, when our dream matches the world's dream, everyone's dream. My dream matches your dream, and your dream matches someone else's dream. Perhaps there is a really good idea to stay and to hold one question close to your heart. What is your particular way, your unique way of shaping the world, of suddenly being awakened? And listen also for the particular ways and unique ways of your people that you're working with. What are their way of shaping this world? How we stand here in our knowing and in our listening creates the revolution for the eco-centric culture that we are dreaming of.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And we very much dived into the poetry of this dream, world making, dreaming, collective dreaming last time in the previous workshop, and we have done that through working with the archetype of the lover of the world, as if this, not as if, it is in all of us, the lover of the world. The world loves us and we love the world. It all begins by this. We are born from the world with love, and then we're called to offer to the world in this unique way that Sandra spoke about, back to the world, our particular love. And this lover of the world is an archetype, as I said, that it lives within us. And it is a way through which eco-soul-centric world, this revolution can happen. And it is a way through which soul-rooted mentoring happens. Because mentoring wouldn't happen, you know, true, authentic, deep, soulful mentoring wouldn't happen if we wouldn't love the world, and if we wouldn't love the person we have in front of us, right? Otherwise, why put the effort? Otherwise, why sit together? Otherwise, why spend the time? Yeah. And it's because we love this person and we believe in the capacity of that one to bring their own revolution and their unique way of being in the world, that the lover of the world is contributing to this cultural revolution. And today we are going to open the gates for more archetypes to be revealed, for more ways of approaching soul-rooted mentoring to happen.
I'm staying here and I'm feeling into how can we define mentoring if we can. It's just for the fun of it, not that we need to put it in a definition, but perhaps we can approach this mentoring as being a supportive help, well helping another unfold into their own poetics, as if everybody here comes with their own poetic to support another, not only to hear, but also to say yes to what the world dreams through them. And yes, as if the world is dreaming through us. The flight of a bird is a dream of the world. The blossom of a flower is the dream of the world. Our own existence is as well a dream of the world. So perhaps this is what we can understand by mentoring. The world is dreaming through us, and we are creating the world, and mentoring is supporting that unfolding. It's supporting that uniqueness to blossom and to fly and to dive deep in the ground. Something like that.
And to speak even more precisely, the language is to connect, is to support that one, to connect with their soul, what they are born to be and serve. Therefore, soul-rooted mentoring and soul-driven mentoring. Yeah, and with this in mind, we are ready, I think. Are you ready to move towards different archetypes? Well, to go to the first one, and you will see that they come in a kind of progressive way. And we will speak about this also later on. So to introduce the first one, we have another poem. The title of which is When Someone Deeply Listens to You, by John Fox. When someone deeply listens to you, when someone deeply listens to you, not just listens to you, deeply listens to you, it is like holding out a dented cup you've had since childhood and watching it fill up with cold, fresh water. When it balances on top of the brim, you are understood. When it overflows and touches your skin, you are loved. When someone deeply listens to you, the room where you stay, that room where you are right now, starts a new life. And the place where you wrote your first poem begins to glow in your mind's eye. When someone deeply listens to you, it is as if gold has been discovered. When someone deeply listens to you, your bare feet are on the earth, and a beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you. This is what would happen if someone deeply listened to you. Yes. Well, with this introduction, I'm wondering if you have ever been deeply listened and how it was for you. What changes did it make? The depth of the listening in your heart, in your body, in your mind, perhaps even your soul. How did it influence you? What kind of worlds were dreamed through that deep listening? I'm wondering. And I believe that, yes, by deep listening, we are allowing the dreaming of the earth to speak through us and to be listened. So here, little by little, we're bringing the archetype of the great listener. It's not just a listener, it's a great listener. It's a very deep listener. And we're longing for this. Aren't we longing? I feel that the whole world is longing for listening. There is so much scarcity in listening, especially deep listening, but even listening nowadays. It is as if the culture as it is focuses on speaking and giving directions and taming and paving and rearing and responding. And there is not a lot of time for listening, for deep listening. So the great listener is that archetype that, remember, we have within us, that loves and wants and does offer time for listening. And when I say time, it's not only the clock time, the watch time, the minutes, that also, but is that kind of listening that makes the other one fly into the timelessness. That kind of time. And I'm thinking of this speedy world nowadays in which time is one of the most precious gifts, isn't it? We are trying to buy time by buying as processed as possible materials. And therefore there is such a need, such a longing. We spoke about longing last time. There's so much longing for being listened. Not with the intention to respond. The great listener does not have the intention to respond, but simply to hold the space, to make an opening, to tend to the words and the sharings and the dream and the tears and the voice of the other one. To understand, to give a full presence, to compassionate, to simply be. Maybe just like that, simply be with that one. But be in the fullest way of being. That's what the great listener does. Mm-hmm.
So the great listener that you are, that we all have this capacity inside of us, maybe let's try something. Let's try to imagine, and you know that the imagination is really real. Let's try to imagine that the great listener listens with its heart as an organ of perception. You know, we listen with our ears, but what if we listen with our heart as a perception organ? What if we listen from this great listener that we are, that we listen with our bones? We listen with our bones, the bones where the ancestors are living in. Bones also can be some organ of perception. Ooh, how is that? How would everything shift and move and deepen if we allow ourselves to listen to with many parts of our being, listening to the past, as well as listening to the present, as well as listening to the future. This is the great listener. Being a person here, William Stafford is saying, is actually paying attention. And our wealth, we can say our wealth is our attention, our noticing, our listening. The gigantic corporations of nowadays are paying billions of whatever euros for our attention. Every second is money. It must be very important, essential, our attention. It must be crucial. So, dear one, offer your attention. Don't pay attention, but offer it. Offer your attention, dedicate your attention, your love to the sacred. By the way, the great listener inside of you knows. Look for the sacred and listen from your bones and from your heart. Also, maybe more in a more practical way, we are listening through some filters. Maybe the filters of that we have something like, I have to fix this. This is a filter that maybe sometimes we are listening with. Or maybe another filter is that this person that I'm listening is really different from me. Or this person is very similar to me. That's also a kind of a filter, a kind of a maybe barrier that stays in the listening. Or maybe another filter is that I need to be an expert. I need to be the expert. And we are listening through that filter. Or we are listening to a filter that says, no matter what, I have to take care of this person. I have to help. I want to make sure that this person feels better after talking to me. Ooh, these are all beautiful intentions, but they can also be some burdens that can block the actual purity and intimacy of the listening. So going back to the heart, going back to the bones, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to be an expert of. It's just about great listening. Mm.
Mm. Mm. And it's also about, allow me for just one more thought here. It's also about acknowledging that every being is trying to communicate something. Every being, human and non-human, is trying to communicate their story. Yeah, and therefore the need for the great listener. So, well, here we are, all of us with these capacities within us of the great listener. And what if we now just manifested this one, the great listener? What if we just be a person here, be a great listener here, now? What if we listen to another one, or the one, another two actually, not just one, who is here in the circle, with the intention to hear their gold, as if gold is discovered. This is what the poem says, as if gold is discovered. So with this in mind, and by just taking everything that Sandra and I have spoken, and very much the wisdom that is within you, of the great listener, we have a question for you. We have an invitation to listen, to work upon, to answer, which is to speak about something that is deeply meaningful to you. To speak about something that is deeply meaningful to you.
We are going to move with the flow here and meet another archetype if you're ready for that. Meet another archetype besides the great listener. But probably the great listener is the kind of the foundation of everything. It's kind of the foundation of being with a person and being a person here, the great listener. But we do have some others, so we better get going. And the next one that we are going to introduce to you, it is the one that we are naming it the deep seer. Do you understand it? The seer, the ones that sees, the deep seer. The deep seer. So let us be, I don't know, in the presence of some words, some descriptive words about what is the deep seer in you. You have a deep seer. I have a deep seer. Our ancestors were deep seers. And so are you, a deep seer. At the heart of what moves culture forward, maybe, let's call it, is the deep seer. Are those ones. Seer as the one that sees. Yeah, we have a question here in the chat. Seer is the one that sees deeply. Yeah, and I will say a few words to kind of crystallize this archetype, the deep seer. The ones in you and the ones in the society, the ones that see in the dark, metaphorically, and not only metaphorically, but mostly metaphorically, the ones that actually see better in the unknown, that have a second sight, that have a sense, that have all the organs of perceptions are widely cultivated. The deep seer are those that speak with the dead, maybe, that hear the nature's stories speaking, the ones who enter states of trance, the ones that are receiving visions of what is to come. Those are the deep seers, the ones who are hearing and who are seeing the story beneath the story, that are seeing into the depth more than what it is presented. They're seeing the roots, the ground, that which is moving in the underworld, in the not seen and the not perceived. Well, those deep seers are perceiving. The deep seer is the one in you that actually can stretch back in time and at the same time can be present to what is unfolding in the present moment, and at the same time having visions of the future. It's like a really mystic creature, mystic capacity to see the secrets, to see the hiding corners of one's presence. Across cultures and traditions, there were always the deep seers. It was common to have premonition, to speak something that a person is just thinking of and to speak it out loud, to have dream experiences that translated into the day-to-day world and life, and to be in an ongoing dialogue with the ancestors or with the dead or with the larger world that animates. For most of our human history, the people that received such visions about the future lived at the center of the culture. They were the wise ones, the sage ones, the knowing ones. But what is happening now in our culture with the deep seers? Those ones, the intuitive ones, are cast out from the community. Throughout the history, the more recent history, the seers were vilified and pathologized, persecuted, and put out from the community. They were thrown out in the margins of our cultures. And I want us all to feel that loss right now, as much as we can, as much as you are allowing your heart to feel that. We are talking about mentoring. Those were the ones mentoring the culture, the deep seers that were seeing into the unknown. We lost for a little while these deep seers, but now it's time to claim them back. It's time to claim them back with courage and devotion. It is vital for the well-being of our culture, for humans and more than humans, to claim back this precious, important, vital archetype of the deep seer, to make room for it again in our society. Are you feeling the visitation of the deep seer inside of you, the deep seer that you are? Longing, maybe this one that is longing to be free and responsible for the unfolding of the culture.
I'm continuing what Sandra has already started weaving here. These ones, these deep seers, were exiled because they were mirroring back things. They were communicating what they were seeing with the culture, with the community, with the people in front of them. And that was their task, to receive, but also to pass forward, to pass on. And therefore they were punished. And yeah, I'm also feeling now the image of the eyes, beneath the eyes, looking at you. Yeah, so there is a deep seer looking at you. If you get really close to these eyes, what do you see? A reflection of yourself. And that's what the deep seers were also involved in, to share, to mirror, to reflect the qualities of others and the corners that are unseen, as Sandra said, and maybe to see beyond the qualities and the competences, and to see the story that one is unfolding, and to see perhaps the poetry that this one is doing, to see perhaps the archetypes that one is embodying, perhaps even to see their mythos, their mythological existence, and to reflect that mythological existence back to the person, back to the culture. So the deep seer offers here a precious gift to the one that mentors, the gift to be witnessed, to be valued, to be appreciated, and to see themselves with their own deep eyes. Yeah.
So hopefully these words are percolating inside your body and activating and awakening and inspiring the deep seer inside of you. We all have access to this particular wisdom. We do. We have to remember, though. We have to remember it. And here's an opportunity to remember it. So similarly, as previously, as you have been tasted the great listener, you are going to be invited now to taste the deep seer. And again, you will be invited to be with another 2 persons, hopefully, maybe one other person, but hopefully 2 other persons in a group with. And we are going to offer you a question at the very end. The question will be offered. And one by one, you will take roles. You will be 3 in the group. One of you will tell the story, will answer to the question that will be given to you for 3 minutes or so. And another one of you, well, the other 2 are great listeners, but in particular, another one of you, besides the fact that you are a great listener, you're also going to be in the role of the deep seer, meaning that we want to offer you the opportunity to mirror back the story that you have just listened from this one that answered to the question. So one of you is going to answer the question, and another one of you is going to mirror back. What are they listening? What are they hearing? What are they seeing? What is the story maybe beneath the story? Don't put now too much pressure onto you. It's just the 3 minutes that you will have, and you don't have to unfold the whole world in these 3 minutes, but maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe that suddenly from the poem will be here for you. And you have the one that mirrors, the deep seer will also have 3 minutes. You don't have to use the whole 3 minutes. Relax into time. Relax into being. Relax into being a deep seer. Otherwise, we don't see if we're stressed and intensely charged. So what do you mirror? You hear a story, yeah? And you're listening and you're seeing maybe images on that story. Mirror back the images maybe that you have seen in the story. Mirror back the gift that this one is embodying while telling their story. Mirror back the qualities, the story beneath the story, as we keep on saying, the metaphors, the poetics, the unfolding of this one, the courage, the capacity, the values that they embrace, something like that. The other person, the third person, it's a witness. It's a witness, and it's holding the space. And then after the mirroring, and there will be another time for another person to speak their story and another person to mirror, and so on and so forth, until all of you went through all the roles, the one speaking the story, the one mirroring, and the witness. back, dear ones. Was that fun? What did you talk about? Did you see eventually the question? Yes? Oh, great. Excellent. I see a lot of nods. Oh, great. Such a thing like that. That question was tricky. It's sneakily disappeared from my grasp, from my mind. Thank you, Pete, for reminding me. What should we talk about? Well, there's always the question got lost. Exactly. There's too much lostness. There's always things to talk about, and we can really mirror anything, but I really particularly love that question. And I hope you did too. Well, yeah, maybe show us in the way that through your face, through your presence, how was this time spent together with the others? How was to share, to be mirrored, to witness, beyond the fact that time was limiting. Okay, I see a little heart there. What else? Okay, some smiles, some okay, electronic heart. We accept that. Okay. So perhaps we may feel into that the fact that we can enlarge the title of that poem that Eleni read at the beginning, when someone deeply listens to us, and we can add another verse when someone deeply mirrors us, and there is more, and there is more. Okay, how are we so far? We've been tasting a little bit of the great listener, and we have been traveling a little bit in the realm of the deep seer. And oh, this realm is so wide and so magnificent and so big. We are just tasting. And hopefully, these are seeds for the revolution, seeds for you to take with you. And now we're going to taste some other seeds. Ready for that? Ready for yet another flavor in the tapestry of creating a new world? So now this new archetype, new for us, that we are introducing, is the archetype of the hunter, huntress. The archetype of the hunter and the huntress. And you might think, what does that have to do with mentoring? How is that connected to soul-rooted mentoring and creating an eco-centric culture? Well, probably has a lot to do with that. Or at least this is what we believe. But first, let's hear a poem of David White. And knowing that the hunter and the huntress is one that is being evoked and invoked, I'm inviting you to feel into your hunter and your huntress, the hunter that hunts for the sacred, in name of the sacred. So maybe bring that alive in your body as you're listening to this poem that is called Sometimes. Sometimes, if you move carefully through the forest, breathing like the ones in the old stories who could cross a shimmering bed of leaves without a sound, you come to a place whose only task is to trouble you with tiny but frightening requests, conceived out of nowhere, but in this place, beginning to lead everywhere. Requests to stop what you are doing right now and to stop what you are becoming while doing it. Questions that can make or unmake a life. Questions that have patiently waited for you. Questions that have no right to go away. Sometimes. This is our poem, and this is a way, my understanding of being a hunter-huntress for the world. What if we could cross a shimmering bed of leaves without a sound, and we come to a place whose only task is to trouble us with tiny but frightening requests? What if we are ones that are tracking these places and our job, our task is to frightening ourselves and others with tiny and necessary and vital requests, questions, questions that have patiently waiting for you. Yes, we will send you the poems. And I can, in fact, put this one in the chat for you, as someone else is asking. As well as, don't worry if you're not getting the whole poem or every single word. Be in the company of what emanates from these words, more than understanding every single word. And what you understand by being a hunter and huntress, the one hunting as a way of making sacrifice, making the world sacred. Sacrifice has in its root word comes from sacred. So what are some qualities of the huntress, of the hunter? Well, we can speak about many of them, but maybe few of them, just mentioning few of them, is knowing the terrain, knowing what kind of animals are in which kind of the terrain. If we are looking for elephants in the desert or in yeah, you know what I mean. Like if we're looking for elephants in not in desert but in uh, deep um, yeah, in Spain, for example, on the beaches of Spain, maybe we not don't know really the terrain or the animal that we are about to hunt in a sacred way. So knowing the terrain, knowing who might show up in this terrain and whom we should not expect showing up. Also knowing something about what are we hunting. We know we have to know something about our aim, our intention, about the kind of animal, the kind of sacrifice that we want to make. Also, another quality maybe here in the hunter and the huntress is the tracking abilities, the kind of tracking, knowing and seeing and observing and witnessing and following. Some sort of, maybe we can say, knowing the patterns of the terrains and the patterns of the behaviors of the animals that we are making sacred. Like, what kind of food are they eating? What is their food source? And so on. And I believe that the hunter and the huntress have a particular way of seeing things, a particular way of anticipating, of seeing that which is not yet there. A little bit overlapping with the deep seer, because aren't there all inside of us energies, archetypal capacities? The one who is tracking gets closer and closer to the source. So I'm inviting you in this mini presentation to invite the hunter huntress in you and feel into how are you getting closer and closer to the source of things, the one who is going in wild terrains, sure, outside too, but mostly the one in you that is tracking inside the human psyche. You don't know yet the destination. You know what you want to hunt, but you don't know the destination. And you're following your sacred animal, and you're following your supportive curiosity. This is what drives you. Being a hunter, a huntress means having patience, creating intimacy with the animal, feeling the animal through the tracks that is leaving on the floor, on the ground. You see what you're looking for before being there. You see a story and you're curious and you want to know more. Do you feel the hunter, huntress inside you? Just maybe at least a tiny bit. Do you have a sense of this one in you? And I believe a good hunter, huntress is one who is willing, lovingly willing to be hunted as well, to be pierced by the sacredness of the one who is tracking, willingness to be devoured by the animal, devoured. And let's put this in the context of working with people. We are tracking them, we are witnessing them, we're getting closer and closer to that source of their poetics. And also being willing to be surprised, being willing to be touched, to fall in love with their story, to be in that way, to be killed by them. And later we will see how actually we can do that in a mentoring, in a context of working with people. But for now, I just wanted to offer you the metaphor of the huntress, hunter. Yeah, and Eleni might have something more to add to this.
Thank you, Sandra, for the beautiful imagery you offered and inspired here. Well, I would add that sometimes this being within us, the inner huntress, inner hunter, sometimes there is no track. Sometimes it's just a scent, just a smell in the air, and something deep within the hunter huntress knows that prey is somewhere here. And there are two elements here that I would like to discuss. One that is that there is an element of the scent, meaning that nothing tangible is in the story, but somehow the body knows, the instinct, the intuition knows that something is there to be tracked, some prey is there to be tracked. So this hunter huntress is very connected to the body, to her body and to her intuition, and also to her imagination, because it might come through different windows, this intuition that something juicy is out there. So it's all I'm inviting you to look into your body, look into what the imagination gives, where your instinct wants to lead you. What thoughts perhaps come, what trails of thoughts, or what emotions arise. So these are tracks to follow. And yet the animal, the prey, what is the prey? It's food for the soul. No, it's food not only for the body, but it's food for the soul of the world. So to track that one, to track that animal prey, is to track the juiciness of the story, to track the soul of the story, and with this, to support the other person to come closer to their essence, to their core, to the thread that they are holding. So it's about tracking treasures in a way. And there is this curiosity, thirst to know more, because this knowing more will serve the person we have in front of us and will serve the world through that person who will now know. So that's why there is this instinct, because the knowing, the knowledge will feed the world, will feed the culture. Will feed the revolution, maybe, will tend the inner seeds.
So now you will have the opportunity to embody this huntress and hunter. And already you have been used. By now you're going to be in groups of 3 people. One of you will tell a story. Please don't leave the room without me telling you the question. We do have a question for you. So one of you will answer that question, and one of you this time will embody everything. Will embody the great listener, will embody the deep seer, but will not mirror this time. After the 3 minutes are gone of the person that answers the question, another 3 minutes are for the hunter, to ask deep questions that can make and unmake a life, questions that have no right to go away. So, in a way, the telling of the story is not really ending, because in this 3 minutes, the other one is the hunter huntress is going to ask deepening questions. And if based on the curiosity, based on the scent, based on the tracks, the marks that you have been witnessing, the patterns in the story that you have witnessed from the other. And the best question that I'm working with, and kind of like it's a really abundant question, is tell me more about ... that particular time when, or tell me more about that eagle that you saw flying above. And another 1 minute is unfolding with this person answering the question. And then, what about the time you were scared about this one? Tell me more. They're deepening questions. Deepening questions are usually not questions that their answer is yes or no, but that they're widening and deepening the story. Yeah, look for something that maybe is on the edge. There's something that the person is just mentioning, oh, and just going on. So this is what you're doing, huntress, hunter, asking questions, no mirroring. It would be nice to have time also for the mirroring at the end, but we are now kind of experiencing them one by one, all these abilities, capacities of the mentor, sage mentor. And one of them is the hunter with the deep questions. Okay, the question. And yeah, again, everybody will have all the 3 roles, and you will swap and pay attention to the messages that you are going to receive. And the question that you are invited to talk about is, what is the edge? One of the edges. What is the edge or the edge you are walking on right now in your life? Tell your 2 other people one of your edges that you're walking on, meaning some challenges, some possibilities that you are staying with right now in your life. What is one, edge, one certain aspect of your life that is working you in an intense way, perhaps? And you're going to speak for 3 minutes, and for another 3 minutes, you're going to receive questions, deepening questions. Okay, well, enjoy this time together, and see you in a while. And here you are, back again in the circle. Hopefully you feel fed and nourished by also this experience of being a huntress and a hunter in this particular way. Your weapon being the deepening questions, going for the prey, going for that which you love and you need to be fed by. And thank you for engaging and being open, vulnerable with yourself and with the world. And we move even further and even deeper.
Well, the seeds of revolution would not be entirely tended if this archetype, would not be present. This one, let me tell you a little bit about this one. This one is a funny one. Maybe this one is innocent in her or his approach, silent on their feet. You don't hear them arriving, smooth in their approach. And they are exceptional tricksters. And we are referring to the trickster or the troublemaker. Trickster and troublemaker, they are next to each other. How come we put these two words together in the same archetype? Well, this archetype one, is tricking people into trouble. That's why they're next to each other. They're tricking them into trouble, but good, I want to say good, soulful kind of troubles. Troubles that bring them into their story, the deeper one, the story beneath the story, as we usually say. This one, the trickster troublemaker, loves to silently bring the prey that we spoke about earlier on the edge, at the edge of the cliff, where there is no way out other than jumping down into the soul canyons, into the depth of their own essence. And this one, you see, it's really, really needed. This one brings us out of the comfort zone, out of the ordinary in such a graceful and magic way. In a way, this one is also a magician because it does these tricks. It does these, magic tricks out of the blue, bringing the prey into a trouble, into a trap, into a confrontation, and therefore into a catalyst into what they need to be found by. Yes. How do you sense this one on your body? I'm wondering. You're aware of this one, if you have ever been tricked in this way, or you have tricked others in this way. Yeah.
Yeah, trickster and the troublemaker. Well, again, we are repeating ourselves. We all have this one inside of us. We have the archetypal capacity to be this one. And maybe one particular thing that this one does and says is that this one, usually the troublemaker trickster, is intensifying a crisis, your own or a crisis of a person that you are with, mentoring or otherwise working with them. Intensifies the chaos. It's not running away from the chaos because and it's not in a mean act. It's a lot of love that this one is pouring into the intensification of the crisis and the chaos. And in doing so, maybe we know from mythology, maybe we know from our own lives, or maybe both, that from chaos, everything is beginning. All creation begins from a crisis, from polarities that are in conflict. And that's the birthing, the creation and recreation force that comes from the chaos. So this one is not letting you settle for a good enough or a small life. This one is poking and it's troubling you. It's a troublemaker. It's troubling you with questions that you don't want to hear, or the people that you work with, they don't want to hear, but there is necessary for them to hear, or invitations, not only questions, but invitations. So This one knows that when things get closer to chaos, closer to a crisis, it is their duty to make it even bigger, because that is bringing you closer to creation and closer to the recreation and unfolding of the poetics of the greater story. And I'm repeating myself. I know for this, a lot of love is required. We don't create troubles without love, without a lot of love for ourselves and for the people that we are working with. And this one of us has boundless love and boundless energy and freedom and madness. I think Eleni also mentioned magic, the magician, like madness, like when we are falling in love, when we are in love with someone, we are mad, in that kind of madness. I love this person so much that I cannot not tell the truth of what I'm seeing. Yeah.
So you see, this one strikes, as already Sandra said, with questions or invitations, with nudges, with pokes, with sometimes tricks or even slaps. So so here we are, knowing that this one is also within us. Let us be in the role, in the shoes of this one. Let us be in the shoes of this one. And how are we going to do it? We're just inviting you to close your eyes for just a little while. Close your eyes for just a little while. And through your body, I don't know, make space for the trickster troublemaker. This magician, this one that is a truth teller, that holds the wisdom and the fierceness to bring the good kind of trouble. And now look at yourself from the perspectives, from the eyes of the trickster troublemaker. Look at yourself and the questions you have answered before, the answers you have given before. You have given 3 answers, and just observe them. Now, from your depths, as a trickster troublemaker, with what question or invitation do you want to trick / strike yourself? What kind of dangerous and potent invitation or question do you want to offer? You must offer. It's your duty to offer to yourself, that self that gave these 3 answers just a minute ago. And I see some of you are opening their mouth and they're already speaking this up. And what if you take your pen and journal, put this down? Should not be evaded, should not go away. Put this on your journal. And once you do it, then read it again out loud. Maybe asking, do you dare, self? To ... I challenge you, self. I lovingly challenge you. More seconds here for the essence to be put on the paper. And yet, this essence, that came in the form of invitation or question to yourself. This essence, just like medicine poison, need to be given again to you drop by drop. So what if you find ways later on to feed yourself from the trickster, troublemaker point of view, to drop these drops of medicine / poison to your everyday self, perhaps by repeating this question every morning, perhaps by making it your ringtone on your phone, perhaps by, I don't know, finding other trickstery ways to make yourself more and more confronted with this trickstery, dangerous, potent question, invitation. Yeah, play with this one. Play more with this one. Well, we have been tending the seeds of revolution. And this was our last archetype, a trickster troublemaker. And still there are a couple of minutes, still things to be put together. I'm wondering, Sandra, do you want to go on now or shall I go on? Me? Okay. Well, different beauties to put together. We have been tending, as I said, the seeds of a revolution for creating an eco soul-centric culture. And yeah, and here there is a poem that perhaps puts everything together that we want to share with you. It is called Beginners. Maybe we are all beginners in this revolution. It goes like this. But we have only just begun to love the earth. We have only just begun to love the earth. We have only begun to imagine the fullness of life. How could we tire of hope? So much is in bud. So much is in the bud, the one before the flower. How can we desire fail? We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy, only begun to envision how it might be to live as siblings with beast and flower, not as oppressors. Surely our river cannot already be hastening into the sea of non-being. Surely it cannot drag in the silt all that is innocent. Not yet, not yet. There is too much broken that must be mended. There is too much broken that needs to be mended. Too much hurt we have done to each other that cannot yet be forgiven. We have only begun. We have only begun to know the power that is in us if we would join our solitudes in the communion of struggle. So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud. So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud. We are beginners. And so much is unfolding that we cannot do otherwise than tend it. We cannot do otherwise than love it, be it, stand be a person here. Evoke the archetypes, evoke the mentor within. So much is still in the bud and waiting to flourish.
We are world makers. Remember that. We are all participating to the creation of the world. And we are beginners. That means that we have started already. The world renews itself. Our stories as individuals, they are renewing themselves. And often this renewal comes from the things that are falling apart. And the world is falling apart right now. And we have to tend that. We have to be mentors, great listeners, deep seers, huntresses and hunters, troublemakers, tricksters, in the name of love for this earth. Yeah, the world is falling apart, and here is an opportunity. The crisis is full in. Time for something new to emerge. Yes, and we are creators of that world. Everything we do matters. How you breathe. Let's breathe together. This breath that matters. Yeah. Well, dear ones, we wholeheartedly thank you for being with us now, and to the ones that are listening to this recording later. Thank you. And yeah, in a minute here, we are going to cross the threshold back, but not fully back. Not fully back. Take with you as many seeds as your pockets allow, as your heart allow.
And just a reminder that we have dedicated this time here to a particular being. And just stay with your imagination. How would that being change, revolutionized, evolve if we step more into the shoes of those archetypes that we spoke last time and this time? And with gratitude, let us blow the candle, thank the fire, the tender, the beloved here. Thank you, dear ones. Thank you, fire. Thank you, world. Yeah. Keep walking that way. Much gratitude and farewell.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Yes.